Have you ever said something in English that you thought was fine, polite, even funny, and you've been met with awkward looks or just silence? That's not grammar. It's not even vocabulary. You just didn't read the room. Some languages, like Italian and Spanish, make formality more obvious. It's built into the grammar. But English doesn't do that. Still, the difference is there. It just shows up in the words you choose. For example, how's it going? Or, it's very nice to meet you. Same language, but not the same situation. At work, this matters. You're in a meeting, it's relaxed, and people are saying things like, yeah, that makes sense. Let's do it. Sounds good. So you speak in the same way. Yeah, I don't get this part. Can you fix this? Just send it over. Nothing wrong with any of that. But then somebody senior joins the meeting and the tone changes. I think we may need to look at this again. Could we revisit that point? Would it make sense to involve finance? But you don't shift your tone, and suddenly people are looking at you. I've done this myself. In Italian meetings, I've used language that is fine with friends, but wrong in a more formal setting. As I mentioned previously, some languages build formality into the grammar. English doesn't. But the system is still there. It just moved into your word choices, your tone, and your rhythm. Listen to this. Hey, can you send me that? Could you please send that over when you get a chance? It's the same message, but it's a different signal. And native speakers don't think about this. They just mirror. If someone says, could you take a look at this when you have a moment? They won't reply, yeah, send it. They say, of course, I'd be happy to. But if someone says, hey, can you check this? They won't suddenly become formal. They'll say, sure, send it over. Most learners don't do this. They just use one version everywhere. But too direct sounds too blunt, too formal sounds distant, and too soft sounds insecure. At the end of the video, I'll tell you how to listen for this. Because the issue isn't your English. The issue is that you use the same English in every situation. English isn't just about being correct. It's about mirroring the other person. You match how they speak, their level of formality, and their tone. And it's not just at work. You can get this wrong socially too. Imagine you're at a bar and somebody comes up to you and says, hey, how's it going? And you say, I'm very well, thank you. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's a bit formal. It doesn't really fit. We would say, I'm great, how about you? Or, I'm good, how are you? So, what do? If a work colleague says, hey, how's it hanging? You can say, all good, mate. You? But if a director says, I need those figures that we talked about, you might say, of course, I'll get straight onto it and they'll be with you very shortly. And one more thing. Start to listen for this when you watch TV and films, interviews. Listen to how people speak to each other. Notice the difference between friends, colleagues, senior figures. Both British shows and American shows are full of these differences. When you hear something you like, write it down and try to make it your own. And if you hear something you don't understand, write it in the comments and I'll clarify it for you. You already speak good English, so next time don't just listen for meaning, listen for how it is said. That's the difference.